Welcome to Still Works and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. So what do we got going on today? Well, today we're going to start a all-grain wheat vodka, and we're only going to use wheat. Okay, and I like just go step by step, and we'll get this done. And this one's a new for me. I've never done an all-wheat grain. And a subscriber out there, Danny Lee, challenged me to do this. Okay, so I'm really curious and interested to see how this is going to turn out. Okay, so what ingredients we got? Well, I got 4 pounds of malted white wheat, and I also have 11 pounds of flaked wheat. Okay, and the only other thing, well, we're going to use Daddy's yeast. And the only other thing I might use is some high temperature enzyme to help, because I'm pretty sure this is going to turn into a thick blob. So high temperature enzyme will actually help break that down before we go to add in our malted wheat. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be a single infusion mash. So what we'll do is we're going to add in, it's near boiling water, and we'll put it into, I don't know, a couple gallons in here, enough to mix in the flaked wheat and try to get them starches out of that wheat, okay? So let's get, I got my pump hooked up, I got water in my brew pot. So we'll probably get us about 3 gallons in here. Maybe a little bit more, we'll see. Get this thing, let me grab my mash paddle. I did start sanding my mash tun. I mean, I know the water's over 170 degrees, it should be okay, but you know what, a little bit of star sand will never hurt. Okay, I'd bring you over, but it's hard to see and there's all the steam. I am using my mash bag here, and like I said before, I foresee a lot of thick stuff. All right, let me, that's probably about 3 gallons. Let me see if I start mixing some of this in. Let me get some clamps on my bash bag here. Just to help out so it don't be falling all over the place. These mash bags work pretty nice. All right. Just keep stirring it up. We don't want no dry spots. I can't see a darn thing. Okay, we got all that mixed in there. I'm going to put just a little bit more water in. Let's check our temperature. I'm looking, it dropped it down to about 160 degrees, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to let that go, I'm going to say, about 90 minutes. Okay? Put the lid on it. Okay, so it's been 90 minutes. Basically what we're trying to do was to, hydrolyze our flaked wheat. Oh, it is thick. I mean, it's thick, okay? And one thing I did put in there was some high temperature Enzyme. That sure did help a lot, but it still is thick. All right, so the next thing I need to do is we need to check our temperature. 156. Okay, 156, that's good. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add in our, ooh, that tastes good. We're going to add in our 4 pounds of malted wheat, okay? So what it should do, once it gets in there, it will start I mean, because if you feel this, yeah, it's all that, you can look at it, it's all the starches hanging out. Okay, so what this ought to do is start converting them starches over into sugars, okay? So, what we want to do is add this in, get it all mixed up in throughout. It is thick. Get that mixed in. Kind of reminds me when I did that oatmeal whiskey. You know, it was pretty thick too. A lot of starch in there. What does that mean? Starch means sugar. Put all that dry ingredients, it's really thick now, but she'll start to loosen up once it starts to convert. So what I'll probably end up doing, because it is so thick, I'll set a timer for 20 minutes and come back and give her another stir. Just to help get everything moving around. But you can see it's thick. Okay? Alright, so what is our temperature right now? It is, see that dropped her down to 144, and I want to get her back up to, you know, the 155-ish range, you know, to just a good place for them conversion to take place. The extra water will help everything come along. And 149, I'm gonna leave her, 151, I'm gonna leave her perfect right there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm gonna cover this up and I'll give it probably close to another 90 minutes. Just let it do its thing. Okay, so it's almost an hour. Oh yeah, look at that. See the liquid on top of the grains, that's a good sign that conversion is taking place. So what we're going to do, let's just get a little sample of that clear liquid. You just put it in, like a white dish is what works the best. And what we want to do is just put a drop of iodine. Whoop. See how that turned instant black? That means that there's a lot of starch still left in there, so we're going to have to leave this a little bit longer. It ain't quite ready yet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check my temperature, see if we're still close. 44. I might just put just a smidgen of hot water in there. Just to boost the temperature up just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of boost. Remember how thick this was before? It was just like oatmeal that you eat. And temperature is oops, I want just a little bit more. $147. That's perfect. Okay, let's cover this back up. Okay, it's been the 90 minutes. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. I can tell already it's going to be fine. Okay, but one way to make sure, we'll just take us a little sample. All right, let me get a little bit of drop of iodine. Okay, can you see that? Okay, a drop of iodine. All right, can you see where it pretty much just goes right back to, pretty much right back to the original color. Okay, so what that's telling me is there's no starch present, so the enzymes did their job, and it is. Let me cover this iodine up before I spill it all over the place. Okay, so enzymes did its job. Conversion has taken place. And if you feel it, and it tastes sweet, okay? All right, so the next step is let's sparge this over, and we're all getting close to being done. All right, let's see if we can sparge this over into our bucket here. This is always the fun part. So what we'll do is we'll batch barge this, so we'll drain everything that we can get. Sometimes it's the fun part of grain. The mash bag really does help. All right, so let me get this all sparged in, then we'll be back. All right, well, let's see what our specific gravity is. I mean, it's still draining, but we're going to check it anyway. See where we're at. And we are about 160, 1.060. That ain't too bad. 1.060. All right. Okay, so I got that mash in my fermentation room. It's still a little bit too warm to put yeast in, so I'm gonna let it cool down for a while. It'll probably take a few hours, so sometime later on tonight I'll come out and check. And if it's cooled down below 90, I'll go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of daddy's yeast. Okay. So just a quick recap of what we did is we're making a vodka all wheat mash. We used flaked wheat, and we also used some just malted wheat. We put all our flake in the mash tun. We put in near boiling water, got the starches to come out of the flaked wheat. And then what we did was added in the malted wheat with a little bit of high temperature. Let me back up. While the flake wheat was hydrogenized, we put in some high temperature enzymes to help break down that so it wasn't one big giant blob. Okay, so but after we did that, we let that be in there for 90 minutes, then we added in our malted wheat. We gave it another 90 minutes. We did a starch test. We found that the conversion did take place. Then we sparged it over into our fermentation bucket. And what we do then? Oh, we checked our specific gravity. It is at basically 1.050, sorry. And then I did have to adjust the pH a little bit. I had to drop it down a little bit, so I added a little, just a pinch of citric acid, and that brought it down to 5.2, which is beautiful. So what's next? Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to let this ferment for, I don't know, 7 to 10 days, and then it should be done. And then we'll distill it out, and we'll be using our bubble plate, and we'll get some pretty good vodka. I'm really hoping so. The next thing, that'd be probably next week, we'll be doing that. I think that's about it. Okay. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Still Works and Brewing. Now I just got to clean up my mess.